All right. Now it's working. Yay. All right. Cool. So, we have a few just kind of questions. There's going to be like a little mini bio box.
Oh, sure.
And then just kind of a quick article about kind of your experience and
Okay.
stuff. So, let me just start with, can you spell your name and everything for the...
My name is Bob Nelson, Bobnelson.
Okay, and how old are you?
67.
Okay, and where are you from?
Originally from Whittier, California.
How do you, Whittier?
Whittier.
Ittieer.
California. It's right outside of Los Angeles.
Oh, okay. And where do you live now?
Kalama.
Kalama?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. It's such a pretty town. I've lived here probably for almost a year now, but I really like Kalama a lot.
We've been up here 11, 12 years. Where are you from? Are you from Washington or?
Oh yeah, I moved from Tacoma, and before that I was just living in Issaquah and Olympia, so I've kind of lived, and then I lived in Bend, so this area.
Sure.
Yeah. So are you married?
Yes, 43 years.
43 years. What's your wife's name?
Phyllis, Phyllis.
And same last name? Or?
Yes.
Okay. And do you have children?
2 daughters.
Okay, what are their names?
Robin, Robyn. Lindsay, Lindsay. Ndsay.
Oh, that's kind of a cool spelling.
Yeah.
And what are their last names?
Robin is Nelson.
Oh, okay.
And Lindsay is Amos, Amos.
Okay, cool. All right, and then what branch of the military did you
Marine
serve?
Corps.
Okay. And what was your highest position when you left?
E4, corporal.
E4 corporal.
Mm-hmm.
And how many years did you
2.
serve? 2, okay. And where were you stationed?
In Vietnam or everywhere? I mean, what did you want to know?
Oh, well, I guess everywhere. I mean, it is about Vietnam, but...
Well, yeah, I went to boot camp in San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
I went to engineer school at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
And from there I went over to Vietnam, and I was in Quang Tri Province. It's Quang, 2 words, Tri, Tri. And then that was just the province I was in, but I was stationed at Vandergrift Combat Base. It's Vandergrift Combat Base.
Okay. Okay. So what, I guess, in your serving in Vietnam, what was your sort of biggest impression that you remember?
How lucky I was to live in the United States. Basically.
Really?
Yes. It was, Vietnam's a third world country.
Yeah.
And it was pretty sad to see the way of life over there. For me, it was anyway.
Yeah. Was that the first time you'd been to a third world country?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
How old were you at the time?
Let's see, I was 19. I think I only got to Vietnam when I was 20.
Okay.
19 or 20. So
yeah. So I can see how that would be your first kind of
yeah.
Trip to that kind of a country. And so, was there anything, I guess, in particular striking to you that you noticed, like, about that, poverty or?
Well, just a different way of life. I mean, people don't wear shoes over there. They, at the time they were very, very poor. I mean, we had trash dumps at our base in our compound and the trash would be so old it'd actually be fermenting. There'd be maggots on it, and then the kids would come and eat the food out of there. And you had little 14, 15-year-old kids, their teeth were black and their skin was wrinkled, and had a pretty lasting impression on you.
Mm.
So I mean, the starvation was really bad, and we gave as many C rations as we could to the kids. They when we had them.
Do you mean like the kind of like the bars?
The box. Well, yeah, they don't have the C rations anymore. They have a lot better food. Yeah, we just would give them whatever we could. And,
yeah.
I mean, starvation was pretty much a staple over there. I mean, people were starving to death over there.
Mm-hmm. And I guess, what was there any? I guess when you think about yourself, you know, in that. So you say you were 20 when you were there.
Mm-hmm.
How did you change, kind of, as a person? I mean, already that's a time of a lot of development, but here you're in this life-altering situation.
Well, I think it gave me a greater appreciation for life. I think it's what I really changed. Not that I took things for granted when I was a kid, but you come through there and you know, a lot of people knock the military. You know, for me, it did a lot of good, and I was a good kid growing up, but it just taught me responsibility and seeing the way the other side of the world lives. I mean, it really gives you a great appreciation for life, for what you have, and it's kind of followed me through my life. I mean, I still have a lot of impressions of Vietnam. There were a lot of things I saw over there that maybe some people didn't see. Because I was in, I was in a forward area of Vietnam. I was about 1.5 miles from the DMZ. I was in the most forward area of Vietnam. So we had incoming fire every night, rocket fire, mortar fire. Seeing people get blown up was kind of tough.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So, when you, I'm wondering, what was it like when you returned home?
Not good. Well, you have to remember, I was in the late 60s, and that was kind of the beginning of the peace movement. You know, Vietnam actually started the peace movement, the hippies, and I was very proud that I served my country. I wasn't a gung-ho Marine. I mean, I served well, but I would come home and say I just got back from Vietnam, and most people, kind of looked at you like, why were you over there? And for me it was anyway. And it was mainly my age group. The adults were very endearing, but it wasn't pleasant for people my age at the time. Thinking you're crazy, you're stupid, and ignorant, and it was tough. It was really tough. And I just finally stopped telling people I was over there.
Oh, really?
I mean, it was just, I didn't boast about it, but I just got tired of telling them that, they would always, give me a bad time, so. But it was, the Vietnam War, of course you weren't born yet, but the Vietnam War was a different type of war. It was kind of like the Korean conflict. It was a little different than World War I, World War II, but the Vietnam vets as a whole were not treated well at all when they came home, so.
Yeah. What about your family? Did they have a different reaction? I don't know if you have military in your family at all.
No, in fact, no. I was my older brother was in the National Guard. He was only in for like 6 months. So, but they were very gracious. Of course, they were happy that I came home.
Yeah.
Obviously my mother, but
yeah.
No, they they were proud I served. I think they were proud that I was in the military, I think it's great that people go in the military. A lot of the younger people, or your generation, to be quite honest, and maybe the generation after you, don't realize the responsibility the soldier has, and I just wish they'd get a little more gratitude, more deserving gratitude, I should say. So.
So how do you think your experiences, you know, how you were treated when you got home compares to, how
Like they are
veterans
now?
now? Yeah, like
Very,
Iraq and
very
Afghanistan.
different. I don't know if the people Sherry or you interviewed have expressed the same, but very, very different. In fact, good case in point, Operation Desert Storm was in 1991, I believe. It was, they were in Kuwait, and
Yeah.
granted, a soldier, whenever they're in harm's way, is difficult, but it was like a two or 3 week conflict, and they came home. They had a parade for them. They were made out to be heroes, and for me personally, that really rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah.
But I think most Vietnam vets will tell you we weren't treated very well, and they're treated a lot different now, and rightly so. They should be, but I think we kind of got the raw end of the deal.
Mm. I wonder what has kind of led to that sort of change.
Well, I really don't know. I don't know if I could answer that. I don't know. I think what was really driven with the Vietnam was the peace movement. I think that was really a driving force behind the what's the word I want to use, disdain for the Vietnam War.
Yeah.
The peace movement at the hippie area, and they were actually very influential. They had the Woodstock, all the peace movements. I think that had a lot to do with it. I don't know if I could put my finger on it. But
yeah. I feel like there's been more awareness now between, people trying to be pro-peace, but maybe not conflating that with being anti, veteran or anti-soldier, or, not saying that it's like a perfect thing, but, that's interesting.
Yeah, the Vietnam was a war. A lot of people in my generation deemed it as a conflict that we didn't have any business being over there, and a lot of people feel that way about Iraq and Afghanistan too. That we do need to be over there. So I don't know if people will ever. I'm the baby boomer generation. I don't know if they're ever gonna change their mind about the Vietnam War. But like I say, I'm proud I served. I had a great time over there, and came home safe and unharmed. So
that's the
yeah.
So the federal government has. I know that the 50th anniversary is kind of moving target. Sounds like it's kind of contested, but the federal government, I guess, has declared it as the 50th anniversary. So I'm wondering what you think people should take away from this point in history.
Oh gosh. I really don't know. I'd have to think about that. I guess just basically that, we were fighting there for a cause, whether it was for the protection of our, country. I mean, we were fighting against communism. That's what the Vietnam War was about more than anything else. And I just hope they can take away that, we were no different than the soldiers in World War II or the soldiers in Iraq or Afghanistan. We were over there, basically fighting for our country, doing what we were told to do, and I hope I hope the people that have protested the war can understand that. I mean, we were put in harm's way just like every other war. So.
Mm-hmm. And do you I forgot to ask you, could you talk a little bit about your background in terms of your upbringing?
Well, I was brought up in just a middle class family. My mom didn't work, and my dad was a hard worker and played a lot of sports in school, and just was brought up in a very well rounded family, as was my wife. So never got myself in any trouble. So nothing to. Never got in trouble with the law or anything. And I was actually going to college. I had 2 years of college, and my best friend, Senny, went down and enlisted in the Marine Corps. We were both going to college together, and I told him he was a crazy fool, and I was down there the next day enlisting with him. So tells you how smart I am, I guess. But in all honesty, you know, it was a great experience for me. I wouldn't trade it for the world. I made a meritorious corporal promotion, and before I got out, I was asked to stay in and go to OCS, which was Officers Candidate School, but I was a 21-year-old kid. That sounded like a lifetime, so I decided to get out. In retrospect, in all honesty, I kind of wish I would have stayed. Yeah, I wish I would have stayed in. You know, when you're 21 and think you're going to get out when you're 40, it sounded like a long time. But yeah, I just had a normal upbringing, nothing out of the ordinary. So.
What college were you going to?
I was going to Rio Hondo College, and I was going to transfer. That's in Whittier, and then I was going to go transfer to San Diego State. Was my goal.
What is it called? Rio Hondo.
Rio, yeah, RIO, and then Hondo, 2 words, HONDO.
Oh, okay. So it's spelled like it sounds.
Yeah,
okay.
Rio Hondo. Yeah.
And so is that like a community college?
Yes,
and
it
then
was.
You're
Yeah.
Oh,
I wanted to transfer to San Diego State, but I got out and got a job and ended up getting married, so I never finished my education. So, but I've done real well, so I can't complain.
Well, 2 years is more than some people can do. So.
Had a good time.
Yeah, and so you said, I'm sorry, when you were coming in, you said you worked at FedEx.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you retired from. Was that most of your career, or?
Well, it was like the last 11 years. I was in the transportation industry for almost 30 years. Yeah, so.
Like for a trucking company?
Yeah, yes, exactly. FedEx Freight, correct.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They have many divisions.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine. And okay, so and what about your parents? What did they do?
My dad was a supervisor for the bus company in Los Angeles, and my mom was a housewife.
Okay. Did you have siblings or?
An older brother and a younger brother.
Middle child.
Middle child, yeah. I was actually adopted, so.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool. Well, I think that's all the questions I have.
Okay.
I will